Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Benjamin, Bold and Raw Talks. In this show today, I am privileged and honored to have my guest that I'll be introducing shortly. I hope you're fine and you can hear me loud and clearly. This is one of those amazing guests that we normally had sessions together with in the Bold and Raw Talks. And this topic here today is for both the parents, if you're a parent or you're a parent to be, or if you're planning to become a parent. I hope that you're going to tune in today in the next 1 hour. So please share the video, tag a friend, tag all your uncles, your aunties, of course your parents, and more importantly, stay here tuned and share this video. We'll be talking about parenting. Who is responsible for raising your child now that this generation is changing and the parenting is becoming more complicated and complex for so many parents, whether you have young kids or teenagers. Let me know in the comments where you're watching me from as I introduce to you my guest in the next 1 minute. Let me see who is here. I see you, Esther. Janet, thank you so much. Wimsey, Marion, Oroni, thank you so much for tuning in from my YouTube channel. Leila, hello there. Emily Kadeza, thank you so much. Esther Wenjiru, Shashi, thank you so much. Sashi from Dubai. Nyamwati Ruth, thank you so much, all of you. Onyinkwa, thank you for tuning from YouTube. Musimbi, I see you on my YouTube too. Thank you. You can watch this video at the end later on if you are not free right now. I repeat, on our YouTube channels. My guest, are you ready? I'm gonna invite her to introduce herself. So tune in here, share this video. This is a discussion that I don't want you to miss. And you will have questions to ask her because she's a parent and she has some experience and ideas to share with you wherever you are. All right. Hello, hey there.
Yeah, hi, how are you?
I'm good, Lydia. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you very much for inviting me.
Yes, thank you too for accepting the invitation.
Thank you.
Yes. Happy New Year, or Happy New Year is over now.
I think, no, it's not over until January end. So we're still in that mood of Happy New Year.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Let's begin our talk today. Please introduce yourself for anyone who doesn't know you. Who is Lydia?
Okay. My name is Lydia Tetolet. Originally from, I always just show my bracelets. I don't even say where I'm from. You see? And I reside in the UK. And I've been here for a while, and we're talking about children, especially children in diaspora. All my children were born here, so and I've seen the behavior of children born in Kenya, children who are in Kenya, been raised in Kenya, and also children who are born in diaspora. And that's why I'm so passionate about talking about parenting and the youth as well.
Sorry?
And talking about the youths as well.
Passionate about parenting and also the youth.
Yeah.
Yes, the last talk we had together with you, you mentioned you have 3 amazing, how did you call them?
I have 3 angels. I call them angels,
You have 3 angels.
Yes.
Angels. Yes. So those are 3 children. You're blessed to have 3 children.
Yes.
And you have been raising them up to now, and you still continue raising them.
You never stop as a parent. You never stop.
Okay.
Yes.
Say hello to the viewers. Please just say hello to the viewers.
Hi, everybody. So thank you so much for tuning in. And like Benjamin said, you can ask your questions. You can also participate. So it's not just about one person. It's actually interaction. It's a section that we interact together because I might know something that you don't know. You might know something that I don't know. So we are here to learn and teach each other. So thank you so much for tuning in. Just like Benjamin said again, please share so that everybody else can be blessed. Because right now, our children, we say there's a lot of children who are lost. And there's also a lot of parents who need help. So by them listening to this, even if it just helps one person, you've helped one person. So thank you so much, guys, for tuning in.
Thank you so much. All right, guys, please, we continue requesting you to share the video and tag your friend. I put on a question there on the screen, but before we even talk about the question, who is responsible for our children, we have 4 topics in this talk today. We will focus on the first one, which is the genesis of parenting. Where does parenting begin from? Before we even talk about that, Lydia,
Yes.
when you hear the word parent, what comes to your mind?
Is anybody who is responsible for a child.
Uh-huh.
It's not just, you don't have to be a biological parent. You don't have to be you can be a sperm donor or surrogate parent. You can be an auntie and uncle. Every single person who comes who is responsible for, either it's an uncle, an auntie, it's a big sister, a brother, who is responsible for a vulnerable child. You are a parent. So it's not like awiyosimi mtoto wangu kwa sababu sikumzaa.
Yes, anybody can be a parent so long as you're taking care of a child and raising him or her.
Yeah, and that's why you hear they say in Africa that a child belongs to a community. All those communities, uncle and auntie, they're not really their biological children, but you're a parent. Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you for that clarification. So how about the firstborns? I hear sometimes people say the firstborns in Africa, they automatically become the parents. Is it true?
I think that is putting so much pressure on children as well, because sometimes that child needs to be a child. But if you let that child, because she's a firstborn or he's a firstborn, 5 years or 10 years, to be a parent of the younger ones, and they lose their childhood. They're not children anymore. They become parents at a very young age, and then they'll start resenting their siblings, because if they were meant to play out or whatever they were meant to do as a child, but they can't do it because I have responsibility to look after my little sisters, the resentment comes in. So I don't think it's fair as parents to have children, and then because you're older, now it's your responsibility to look after your little sisters. You're not a parent. You're a child.
Yes.
And you should be allowed to be a child.
I am a firstborn. That's why I had to ask that question. I've been a parent for a long time. Sometimes I'm just seated, I receive a phone call or a message. Oh, I need this. Not even hello, I just need this. I want this. I need this from my youngest sister. I have to do it.
Yeah, I know, but I don't think it's fair.
It's not fair.
My firstborn, sometimes when I tell her, I say, honey, you know you're the elder sister. And she's like, yeah, mom. So I'm the elder sister, but I'm also a human being. I need this. I need all those things that the little ones are getting.
Yes.
Because I'm not a parent. I'm just the firstborn, but I'm not a parent. So we need to, as parents, we need to identify the difference between somebody's just an elder child and somebody you're giving an elder child parenting responsibilities. Those are two different things.
Okay, we will have a discussion about that later on in our shows, especially of taking care of the parents, who should do it, who shouldn't do it, and what is the limit of taking care of these so-called parents, because some of them actually take advantage of their children later on in life. But let's focus on our talk today. Ladies and gentlemen who are tuning in, we are going to have an amazing discussion. As I mentioned earlier on, together, me and my guest, who will focus on 4 areas. The first area now we begin is about the genesis of parenting, the beginning of parenting. Lydia, you have 3 amazing kids. In your experience, what do you consider to be the beginning of parenting? Where does it begin from?
First of all, before I start, I would just like to say that I'm not a specialist or a teacher or a psychologist or a counselor. I'm just talking on in regards to, as a parent, my views are just coming from parental side of it. As a parent, and also somebody who I attend a lot of courses. I do a lot of courses, but that doesn't make me a professional or a counselor. But I attend a lot of courses on parenting, and I've done that since my daughter was young. My firstborn is 23 years old now. In fact, she's 24. Oh my God, I hope she didn't hear this.
24.
Yeah, she's 24 already. She was 24 in November. So she's 24 already. My second born is 18. My third born is 15, and they're all girls. And I can tell you for sure, I always say, if I say something bad about them, God will just slap me. You know, when God blesses you, and then you want to, probably God has given you money, and you keep on saying, oh, I'm poor. God will just take the money from you, because then what's the point of you having that money if you keep on confessing that you're poor? So even me with my children, that's why I call them angels. They are very, very good children, Benjamin, and I won't lie to you. They've never given me any problems. In fact, my firstborn, who is 24, she has never replied me back.
Wow.
Never.
You are among the luckiest few parents existing in this generation.
I know, because
24. She's 24. Your firstborn is 24.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, because I attended a lot of courses with parenting, and what I want to say is parenting doesn't have a manual, but there's guidelines. It's like marriage don't have a manual, but there's guidelines. There's some guidelines that if you follow, you find yourself in the right path as a parent or as a married couple. So it's not manual or anything, it's just guidelines. So, and that's why I always say Genesis. I know when I say Genesis, people think, what the hell is Genesis?
Where does parenting start? Like somebody who is watching you here, as I said from the beginning, there are people who are planning to become parents. They are wishing, actually. I just want a child. You know, even this generation these days, I meet young ladies who say, I just want a child. I will take care of the child. I have no problem. So long as I get a child, I'm running out of time. I'm 26, I'm 27. Others are even 30, or some are even watching. They're in their 30s, and they are thinking, wow, when can I become a mother? When can I become a father? So for you, in your experience, parenting, where does it begin from?
Well, parenting begins even before you get pregnant. So that is the genesis of everything. Before you get pregnant, why do you want this child so bad? Is it because it's something that we as human beings, we desire to have? And first before I even go, I want to say that having a child is not a need, because some people have mistaken having a child with a need. But if you say that it's a need is something that is a necessity that we cannot live without. So if you're telling somebody that it's a need, that means that the people that cannot have children, well, are they not surviving? Are they not having the need? Because need is something you cannot live without. A child is something you can live without. A child is someone or somebody you can live without. But we all desire, because even the Bible says that go and multiply. So it's our desire that we want to have children. But sometimes we want to have children for wrong reasons. Or I want to have a child because I want to keep this man. I don't want this man to go. A lot of women have that mentality, which is very, very wrong, because you cannot use a child as a bait. I want to have a child because I want to keep a man. And then men as well, I make this woman pregnant so that she can stay. Or I can put her in the house as the trophy wife, so she doesn't go anywhere because she has children to look after. So before you get pregnant, why do you really want this baby so bad? Are you ready to have a baby? Are you ready to look after this baby? So that is the genesis. And then now you get pregnant. Now, this is what happens when you get pregnant. That is the beginning of everything, of what will make your child or will break your child. Now, a woman gets pregnant, but because you got pregnant for wrong reasons, now you start all these negative words. You start cursing this child. Oh, this child, because of you, my life is finished. Oh, that's one. This child, I wish I aborted this child before long time when I still had time. Oh, this child, you're saying so many negative things about this child. This child can hear you. This child is connected to you. So every emotion you're going through, this child can feel it. Whether it's something whether it's physical, whether it's mentally, whether it's emotionally, the child is connected to you. So they can feel whatever you're feeling. And every negative words that you're speaking. And we also remember that the tongue has the power of life and death. So whatever you are confessing on this child, the child can hear it and the child can feel it. If a couple is either they're married or they're not married, they're always fighting, they're always arguing, that is affecting your child. Or people, because people have seen that you are not ready to be pregnant, and people are saying negative things around your child, and you're not even telling them to stop. People are saying negative things. Oh, ona umezaa umeshika mimba bado wewe ni mdogo, huyu maybe tu alikuwa malaya. People are saying all these negative things to you regards your child, and your child can feel it.
Wow.
So because of that, resentment comes in. Already the child feels resentful. The child feels a rejection. And you know how rejection is bad. Rejection is very, very bad. The child is angry already. The child is not even born, Benjamin. And these emotions have started going in between the child. The child is not even born. And also, when we are angry, that's why they always say that forgiveness is very important, because they say if you don't forgive, it's you who is hurting yourself. Some really bad toxic. There's a toxic that releases itself within us when you're angry, or when you're jealous, or when you're envious. Everything about you, the bad toxics, especially anger. Anger is really bad. It's very dangerous. That's why I think it's in China or Japan where they go somewhere and they laugh. They laugh as therapy, because that laughing is therapeutical. But if you're so angry every time, all those bad toxics, the toxics that we're releasing in your body, they're going to your child, because you're attached to your child. So this child, the minute the child is born, everything is ruined already.
Yes.
Now, let's say after you've given birth, and then now you're happy and everything, and then years later, you see this child start playing up. The child is playing up and you don't understand. You're like, what did I do wrong? Why is this child playing up? You've forgotten that all the negative words you spoke about this child, all the bad emotions that you had, all the bad toxics that you released on this child, now they're manifesting. This is the time they're manifesting. And as they manifest physically from this child. So you can actually see the results of you before you got pregnant and when you are pregnant. So that is the meaning of Genesis.
So right from getting pregnant, what I'm getting from you is right from a person decides to become a mother or to become pregnant, the journey has started. And if the journey starts on a wrong foot, like trying to get pregnant or trying to get a child out of the wrong reasons, can have a very negative impact towards the pregnancy, towards giving birth, and even the journey of raising this child.
Yes.
And I think this message is really, really important for those ladies who are watching, and even the young men who are watching here, that parenting is not about just having a child. It begins even before you decide to go into having or making this child, the two of you. And for you, while you, let me ask you this question, Lydia. Were you prepared for your firstborn?
Okay, I'll be honest, I wasn't.
Yes.
But the thing is, I wasn't prepared. But the thing is, a lot of women as well out there, they find themselves in that situation when they were not ready and they were not prepared. But if that happens, immediately you need to change your mindset. You need to change your mindset that this baby is now here. Unless you want to go and abort that baby, make sure you've taken it out, which is not good either. But if you keep the baby, then you keep talking about abortion and keep talking about this, or even using drugs. I forgot to mention that. Using drugs, drinking alcohol, smoking, having sex with different partners. You can have sex with your partner, that's fine. But having sex with different partners, all those things are things that are affecting the child. But if you didn't plan to have a child and you had, like, I never planned to have a child, but it happened. And when it happened, immediately I embraced it, because that child did not ask for me to open my legs and have sex and bring the baby out. It was my own choice. So when I had that and I didn't use protection and then I had the baby, it's now up to me to decide, you know what, this baby's here. I have to embrace this and I have to be positive about it. So there's not any time I was negative about my pregnancy. I was always positive about pregnancy.
You mean right from the testing, the testing to confirm if you're pregnant is always the most scary part.
When I went to the doctor, because I was really, really sick.
Yes.
And they told me pregnant, I was like,
what?
What? How? And I'm thinking, why am I asking myself how? I have sex without protection. So how am I asking how? So I went home and I told the dad, I said, well,
it is what it is.
It is what it is. This is what happened. I'm pregnant. But he was over the moon, because that was his plan, but it wasn't my plan.
Oh, your father's plan was for you to become a mother.
Yeah, no, my exes, the father of my children.
So the father of your children, yes.
The father of my children, his plan was for me to have the baby.
Yes.
I did not want that baby at that time.
At that time, you were not ready to become a mother.
Ready. And I was even 25. I was 25 years old, but I still wasn't ready.
But you are having unprotected sex. What were you expecting?
Exactly. That is what I say. When
Yes.
you get pregnant, it's not that child's fault. It's your fault because you know very well that if you have unprotected sex, you can get pregnant. So why do you go and have it? And then when you get pregnant, you start blaming this baby. This baby didn't ask you to do what you did.
You could have prevented that from the word go.
Exactly. But you
Aha.
didn't. So
Okay.
now, when I found out I was pregnant, immediately I embraced it. But I was thinking, God, I'm only 25. I just came to the UK. I don't have a good job. I don't have my papers yet. What am I going to do? But I said, you know what? It is what it is. If I'm going to go back to Kenya with this child, I will. If I'm going to stay here and struggle and survive with my child, I will. And Benjamin, one day I'll come and tell you my story. There's a time I was eating from the bin and I was
Eating
pregnant.
from the bin.
Eating from the bin and I was pregnant. I didn't have a job. My ex didn't have a job. And you know how Ulaya is hard. You know because you live you've lived in diaspora, so you know how.
Abroad is really tough if you don't have a job.
Ooh,
It's the toughest place to be. You better be home without a job than in a foreign country. It's far
than in
much
a
better.
foreign country. Exactly,
Yes,
because
yes,
all
I
your
know
friends
that.
are running away from you. They don't want to hear about you. They're asking themselves, "Nisi tulikwambia ushike mimba." Do you understand? And I didn't want to bother anybody with my problems that, oh, I'm pregnant, and then they'll start talking negative things about my child. So I ate from the bean. And oh God, it's another story for
It's
another
another
day.
story for another day. Ladies and gentlemen, those of you who are just tuning in here, I don't know what you're watching, and I don't know why you're leaving watching this video. This is the Bold and Raw Talks. Today, I am privileged to have Lydia Tet, my guest today, and we are talking about parenting. We are planning to be doing these shows time to time, almost every single Monday, to talk to young parents, even the older parents, on just to share our ideas and also to hear from you as a viewer what you think about you being a parent, and so far what is working for you and what is not working for you. That's why we encourage you to share this video. Continue tagging your friend. You can tag your ex, or you can share this video
Yes.
to your ex or your baby daddy, and you never know, he might learn something from this discussion. So please, we request all of you who are here, share this video to any groups. You can share it on WhatsApp. Encourage other young parents, even your brothers and sisters, to follow this discussion and also to learn something as we are going on. We are going to look at your questions later on. I've seen some of the questions, but right now we want to move on. After talking about the genesis, the beginning of parenting, the most important stage, or the second topic we are going to focus on, is who is responsible for your child. Now that you are with your first with your first daughter, and you said you accepted, okay, I was not ready to become a mother, but here I am, I've given birth to my daughter. Who is responsible? From your experience, who is really responsible for your child?
Yourself. I know people say both parents, but it's yourself. Because when you think, oh, both parents are responsible, you might be waiting for that other parent to do this, or the other parent is waiting for this other parent to do this. But now, because you're in limbo, everybody's waiting, something will not be done for the child. So you have to take it as a dad or as a mom that it's my responsibility to look after this child. That's why you see that some women or some men, or some men as well as single parents, when one partner goes, they struggle because they were actually relying on the other partner as well, that, oh, it's our responsibility. But for me, I took it as my responsibility. I said, and I've a lot of people that I've seen that struggle with their children, but because like the father of my children left when my last born was 2 years old. She's now 15.
Oh, he left you when the child, that's the question I wanted to ask you. He left you when your daughter was 2 years old.
My last born.
The
My
last born. Okay.
So I have three. So the last one was 2. The second one was 4. The first one was around 10. And
Around
this
10,
man now left. So and I'm in the UK by myself. I don't know anything. I don't know a lot of people. I don't know about support groups. and then he left. But because from the day one I got pregnant with my firstborn, I put it in my mind that it's my responsibility to look after my children. And that's why when he left, I did not really struggle a lot because I had already made up my mind that it's my responsibility. But when you start thinking that it's both our responsibility, you do this, I do this, that's when those things start happening, because you're expecting your husband to do this. The husband is expecting the wife to do this. Something is not being done. So who is responsible for your own child? It's yourself. It's not the community. It's not the society. It's not the government. Don't blame anybody for anything going wrong with your children. You start saying, oh, but you know, this government, especially in diaspora, they always say, oh, but the government is this. There are some children who are well behaved 100%. What is different in that household and your household is because they started from when they say samaki mkunja akiwa mbichi. When you start from beginning with your child and you take responsibility yourself. Some of us leave responsibility for the maids. How can you give birth and then leave a maid to look after your children and expect them to discipline these children? They won't. Because you as a parent, you are the only person who can love and discipline these children, that not even your sister, not even their grandma, than you who gave birth to this child. The first person has to be you,
the parent, all the time. It's like you are the CEO of this child.
You are the CEO of this child, nobody else. The rest are just directors and managers, but you are the CEO. That's why you see when they say that somebody has a company and the company excels more than their own children, it's because they've taken this company as their own.
It's their own baby. They're taking care of their own baby. It's like their own baby.
Exactly. They say, I'm the founder. So why don't you take the same thing and say, this child is your founder? You are the founder of this child. So why is it different from your child and your company is excelling, but your child is not excelling? Because
something to think about.
Yes, you're giving your time, you're giving all the time to this company because you want it to excel and you want to be rich and to say that I'm successful, forgetting that the first success is your children. How did your children turn up? So you can't be driving a best car, Jaguar or whatever they are called, Ferrari, and living in a big house, a house made of only glass, and your children are in the street. Either they're in prison, or they're in the streets, or they're in gangs, or they're so sad, they're so miserable, they're depressed. But your business is prospering because you are treating this one as your baby and you're giving it all your time. Why? What about your children?
The question is, who is responsible? The next question I want to ask you, thank you for giving that analogy, because I understand so many people excel outside there. And I did a talk show, a solo talk, Bold and Raw, and I was asking my viewers and the followers, what defines success according to you? What is success according to you? And people were saying, oh, if I'm healthy, if I live longer, if my parents are happy, if my children turn out to be successful. But when I was listening and reading what people are saying, it rotates in the family. The family that you are raising, the way you say you are the founder of this family, if your family becomes successful, then as you get older, you will look back and say, yes, I did my best, I made mistakes, but I can say I am a successful man in this way, and especially in my family. But the question that I wanted to ask you is, in trying to know who is responsible, sometimes you get confused, you feel guilty. I know there are parents who feel guilty. I know there are parents who compare each other. Like, I'm sure sometimes you are comparing yourself. Am I a good mother compared to so and so? There are also parents who are watching here that receive a lot of criticism. The society criticizes you. Your friends criticize you. You're a single parent. They talk so many bad things. And this makes the parenting very, very complicated. But where do you get the advice from? From you as Lydia, where were you getting a lot of advice from? Especially the first few years of parenting. Yeah.
Okay.
A young parent is very difficult. You can get advice which can mislead you completely. Yeah. And some people can actually give you a good advice. For you, in your experience, where were you getting your advice from?
Okay. Thank you for that question. Like I said, I used to attend a lot of parenting courses. That is something that I've done since my first baby. And I'll give you an example. When I first had the baby, my firstborn, a lot of parents sometimes when they say, oh, shut up or be quiet, they use all these words. And when I first had a child, I started saying, "Oh, shut up when they're crying." When I started attending these courses, my house up to today, Benjamin, how many years now? My children cannot even use those words. Probably they use it outside. I won't swear that they don't use it outside. Probably they use it outside with their friends. But when they're in the house, you never hear any swear word in the house because they didn't hear me using it. But when I started, I did use it, but because I didn't know better. But when I started going to courses, and that's why I tell parents, go to a lot of parenting courses, hear talk. And then at the end of the day, you need to weigh. You need to weigh, because if somebody tells you jump, you ask yourself, if I jump, am I going to die or not? So somebody cannot just tell you jump because they are motivational speakers and you go and jump.
No.
You have to weigh and you have to think. So when I started attending these courses, there's so many things that I found helpful and I used them. The ones that I thought, this is not really mine, I'll put it in the shelf. I'll not just throw it in the bin. I'll put it in the shelf because someday I'll come back to it. And the one that I thought, totally rubbish, I just put it in the bin straight away. Because of the courses I was attending, it really helped me to bring up my children well. So, and I know there's a lot of people talking about single parents, and I'm a single parent by choice. And I don't feel any, because I've seen, if I look at myself and I see people who have moms and dads, and I'll see I've even done a good job better than them. So if anybody comes to me and starts saying, "Oh, because you're a single parent," I know single parents get a lot of attack.
The criticism which I was talking about, yes.
Yes, it's a lot on single parents. Or I had somebody saying one day, and this is even somebody in the diaspora, and I was thinking, do you have brains? He was saying because there's children were stabbing each other. They say, yeah, those are children of single parents. And I said, how can you even say something like that? Because responsibility, the thing is, whoever is responsible for a child, if you take it that it's you are the CEO of this child, then you're not going to struggle if your partner leaves, if your husband leaves or your wife leaves, because from day one, you've taken both responsibility as a mom and as a dad. That this is my child. So all those people who are criticizing single parents, you'll find that half of them have done zero work to bring up children. The men are there talking and abusing single parents, but it's their wives that are looking after the children, not even them. But they're the ones busy criticizing the children. And then the single parents. And then we have women as well who criticize other women because they're single. But in their house, they're so miserable, like mad. And because they're so miserable, their children picks on the negativity that is going around, because it trickles down. Your negativity, your mindset, everything trickles down. So if you're sad and you're unhappy, it trickles down to your children. And yet you're busy abusing a single parent who she's only there by herself and she's trying the best she can to bring up her children. So I always say, anybody, do not listen to the voices out there. And I know the voices out there are always louder.
There's always that voice that tells you, don't do that to your son. Your son is going to be a bad boy. Don't do that. Those voices.
So if you're bringing up your children, don't listen to any negative word out there. And I always tell people that anybody who comes to you with the negativity, block that person, delete that person, and move on. Don't feel any guilt of deleting them. It doesn't matter who they are. It can be your mom, your dad, your sister, your brother. If your mom is constantly criticizing you, or look at your children, look, what kind of a mom is that? Does she want you to have a breakdown so that she can take your children away from you? Or does she want your children to just be useless children? Block and move on. It doesn't matter who the person is, because you will stand before God and say, God will ask you, I gave you children. What did you do with them?
Beautiful.
You understand? So you have to, you as a parent, don't listen to any negative voices from outside.
Okay. Thank you. So the courses you are attending, how frequently were you attending them, and were they like online? I think that time it was online courses.
No, that time there was no online courses at all.
Yeah,
that time it was physical. So I used
physical.
to attend.
Yeah, you just used to attend. You pay some money. You pay some money.
Yes, I used to pay some money. And in fact, it was really fast. So I used to pay some money. I used to go with my daughter, stay there. I used to. It was once a month, and I did it for 1 year. And after 1 year, I really came out from the tunnel really refined. and ready to look after my daughter.
The parents who are watching here, I don't know if they have ever attended any course of parenting. If you're watching us here, tell us on the comments. Have you ever, let me ask them, have you ever attended any parenting course, or you're just riding with a ride, with a tide, and hoping beyond hope? Because for me, I've been a teacher for more than 15 years. And I recently resigned from teaching because it was becoming too complicated. After 15 years, I started asking myself a question: is it really what I want to do in my life? I know it's a very complicated profession to deal with the children, and I was teaching younger children and also teenagers, the most difficult class that I can ever tell you at this moment in this generation. Any teacher who is watching here, to the way a teenager is very difficult at home, now you can imagine the same teenager comes to class and you have to make him happy, make him understand, make him appreciate your lesson. It is one of the most difficult times for so many teachers all over the world. It doesn't matter where you come from or which country you are in. But my question here quickly before we move to the third topic here is, you can answer quickly without explaining a lot.
Yeah.
Can you make your children always happy?
No, really, because happiness is a process.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, happiness is a process and it's a choice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So the happiness of a child is not, a parent should not try as much as she can to make the child happy.
A parent can do what they can, but it's up to the child to choose whether they want to be happy or not.
Yes.
Because it's a choice.
It's their choice.
Process as well.
Good.
Yeah.
And how about controlling the kids? You have 3 daughters, 3 angels.
3 angels, yes.
How did you control them growing up, especially when they were teenagers? What were you doing and what were you not doing?
Well, I created the foundation already because people used to say, oh, when they're 13, they're this. I don't even remember when my children were 13 because 13 and 10 and 18 did not make any difference with my children. But I think if this foundation is strong already, so every day, and sometimes even in the UK, they say, oh, horrible 2s or horrible 4s. I didn't have all those things because I didn't believe in those things. I just said, you know what, this is the way I'm bringing up my children from when they were zero months. And what I always tell parents is children are very smart. Benjamin, if you put a child down, they start crying. If you carry them, they
keep quiet.
They keep quiet.
They ask you for something else, yes.
And they're playing with their intelligence because they know. So from that time, start your discipline. Don't play with the child. Start your discipline from that time. So because my foundation was very strong, and I also had a lot of incentives to give. So by the time my firstborn, and I think it's also good to grant the foundation with your first child. So the ones that come in will be looking and saying, wow, okay. Because when my second and my third, they see how my firstborn is, they'll just follow. They'll they'll follow.
Yes. So the foundation really helped you. I don't know if the parents who are watching here, they have created that foundation you're talking about. But again, focusing on the controlling part, there is issue about the internet and obviously social media and phones. What have you done for your 3 daughters so far?
That is something that parents should get down to. When my children, when they leave school, their phone is in my room.
You said in the first talk show we had together with you, you said when they come back from school,
their phone's charging in my room.
They put in your room.
Yes, we're done. They know that. When they come back, their phones are charging in my room. My firstborn doesn't, up to today, because of what I did, she doesn't even care about the phone. Sometimes I even tell them, Mommy, you've left your phone downstairs. Your phone is ringing. She says, yeah. It's because of what I put in her, so she doesn't even care about her phone. You come home, your phone is in my room. I give you your phone in the morning when the alarm goes off and you've had a wash. And then I give it to you now. You go to school. Monday to Friday, there was not allowed to watch TV. There was no TV in my house at all. And I wasn't watching it either. Because it won't be fair that Mommy is watching and everybody else is in discipline, not watching TV. But Saturday and Sunday, I'll let them loose. But even letting them loose, I see what they're watching. Every time I'll go and say, hey, what are you watching? And I'll have their passwords. And anytime I just ask you for your phone, let me see your phone. Because I have the password. So every single person have to send me their passwords with WhatsApp because I'll forget on my phone. And anytime I go in, that password I've changed. My friend,
Yeah.
they were like, why did you change your password? You understand? So I've drilled that in them, so they know. And
So, you,
after
like your daughters, did you talk about it right after buying the first phone? At what age did you buy the first phone for your first daughter?
my firstborn was in secondary school, so she was
Yes.
around 11 or 12. Because once they start secondary school, you need to get them a phone
You got our phone, and then right from there, you started this routine. After school, you bring your phone to my bedroom.
to charge,
How
and
can a
that's it.
parent, what about a parent who does not do that right now? The
They
child,
can start.
the,
They
the,
can
the,
start.
they can start now.
They can start. It's never too late with parenting. You can start. Yeah, you can start. Everything
Obviously,
can start.
the child is going to, the teenager is going to be annoyed.
Very rebellious at that time.
Very annoyed and very moody and throwing tantrums, refusing to eat, even talking. But that is part of the CEO. A CEO has to put the feelings aside.
Yep. And
You put
become
your
a
feelings
parent.
aside and focus on correcting the bad behaviors,
Yes.
which is also involves the homework. Which homework, as a teacher, I don't like giving homework. I never used to like giving homework to students, but it is my job. That was a responsibility as a teacher. And then there are parents who are struggling with their children or their teenagers not willing to do their homework.
But when
How did you do it with your daughters?
yeah, when they come, they'll do their homework, and then of course Saturday I had extra lessons for them. So the time I had extra lessons, that time there was no phones as well. For incentive, when you finish, I'll give you your phones. But the other thing as well, parents make mistake. You cannot tell your child, don't go on the phone, and you're on the phone 24/7. You're on the phone. So
Do
even
what
me,
you're saying.
yes, and because they'll just look at you and think you're a hypocrite. So even me, sometimes when my phone rings and I'm talking to my children, I will not pick it. It doesn't matter who it is. I always say, I'll talk. Even my children will say, Mommy, it's okay. Pick it up, Mommy. It's Auntie. Pick it up. I say, no, no, no. I'll talk to Auntie later. Because I'm talking to them. So they need to see that anybody else is not important in their life. They are number one. It doesn't matter who's calling me. I'll call them later. So you also have to practice what you preach with your children. So you can't be telling them no phones and then you're forever on the phone, Instagram. So what I do for me, especially when I want to go on social media, I do it in the morning when they're still sleeping.
You
So I
finish
finish
quickly?
all my
Yes.
things.
Yes.
Yes, I finish up my things. So by the time now they're awake and I'm with them, it's their time. So I have to sacrifice my time and wake up in the morning and do what I have to do.
Yeah. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Good. We are almost winding up. We are moving to the third area of this talk. I hope, ladies and gentlemen, you're picking up something. We really appreciate your time. All of you are tuning in here. Today, I have my guest, Lydia Tet Olet, and we are talking about parenting. If you're a parent, you should be staying here and continue sharing this video. We will come to your questions one by one very quickly, but right now, we want to move on to the third segment of our talk, which is about no manual. Parenting, is there the question which I want to ask you, Lydia? I know most parents, if not all of them, they want to be superhero. I want to be a superhuman for my child. I want my daughter to look at me and say, wow, my dad is the best dad. This is every parent's wish. But as you have seen from your experience with your three daughters, you can never be a perfect. You can never be a superhuman. You break down. Sometimes they disappoint you, and that's part of raising and taking care of these children. Is there a specific manual that you can follow, especially to raise children, so that they don't make so many mistakes?
No, there's no manual. Like I said, there's no manual, but there's just guidelines.
Guidelines.
Your children need to see that you're a human being. You cannot be playing macho. If you're sad, they need to see. Because sometimes I tell my children, I'm so sad, but I don't know why. And they'll be like, oh, they'll be the ones telling me, but mommy, you know that's normal because we have emotions. Now they're telling me what I tell them. So they need to see that mommy's sad today. Today, mommy's happy. Something is wrong with mommy. Mommy's sick. Some people, especially women, because we try to hide a lot. So sometimes when you're sick, you don't even want your children to know you're sick. Let them know you're sick. Let them know that my mom is also human. But if you're trying to be so perfect and then one day you make a mistake, your children will be like, So, mommy, this can happen. What? You confuse your children. So your children also need to see that, oh, mommy is just human or daddy is just human. So there's no superhero when it comes to parenting.
All right. And there's no specific guideline like you can say, oh, I followed this one. If you follow this, like the internet issue, there are some parents who have their style. You said you have passwords of your child, you have passwords of their phones. There are parents who will be like, I can't take the password because you're intruding their privacy.
Privacy.
Yes.
There's no privacy.
There's no privacy for children. After 18, then they can have their own password.
That's different, yes. I know even now, my daughter who is 25, I still have a password because it's something that we've been doing, but I don't go to her phone anymore because now she's 25. I might go there and see things that will hurt my feelings. So I'm like, I'm not going to check her phone.
Are you encouraging parents to try as much as they can to know what they are doing in their phones, even to have those passwords?
You have to know what your child is doing on their phone.
You have to.
You have to. Because if you don't, that's when they now start talking to older people. One useless old uncle will come or auntie will come and start talking to your younger child and lying to them, and your child will be on the phone 24/7. You need to know what your children are doing. Even their rooms, because I started from when they were little. I don't knock. Sometimes I just enter my daughter's room and I'm like this. She's like, oh, mommy, now what is it? I said, nothing.
Do they have locks in their bedroom, or you can just open and enter?
No
locks.
No, because I live only me with my girls. There's no boys in my room, so there's no boys in my house. So I don't bring any money in my house either. So it's not like they have to knock. I don't knock. I just open. And they know it from before, from when they were young. This is what happens, because by the time you're knocking, they might be hiding something. There's nothing like that. So I just open the door and I'm there. But when between themselves, they knock between themselves. But me, I just enter. Sometimes I just enter my children's room and I just check it out. And, so it's not. And I always tell my children, it's not that I don't trust you. It's I don't trust people out there. But because I've done it since they were young, they don't see anything wrong with it.
It's some parents are. You see, like what Andebo Samuel is saying. Watching live from Uganda, a very insightful talk. I was very interested in the issue of phones, which I got right. Thanks a bunch. So this issue of phones and what they are doing and the passwords is really complicated. Just like with the couples these days, with the couples, everyone has their phone and each one has their passwords. But with children, in your experience, it is a must to access their phones.
Yeah, because with couples, everybody has their own. Everybody is an individual and is an adult, and they're responsible for their own action.
But for children,
responsibility to make sure that these children are safe. And for you to make sure that the children are safe, you must know what they're doing. And most of the time, to know what they're doing is through their phones. Or through whatever they're watching. My children have their laptop. I always go on their laptop and check history of what were you guys checking. Even me when one day I called one of my friends and I said, oh, can you help me delete my history? My children came running. Mommy, what are you looking at in the history? I said, come on, guys. I wasn't looking at anything. So why do you want to delete your history? It's just funny because that is what we do all the time. So I go to their laptops, I check. I have to know what my children are doing. I'm sorry, but I have to.
You have to do that, yeah. There are parents who are going to say, I know. Let me ask the viewers. If you're a parent, can you take all the passwords of your teenager, 13 years to 18? Can you know their passwords on their phones? Do you know them? Let me see those who say if you know the password if you have a teenager, and if you're a parent who has a young child, like I see Soshi Devashi says, parenting is not easy, especially abroad. I have a 4 and a 2-year-old and work from a minimum 50 hours a week, and I have to do all the house chores and make time to play with them. It's a very tough situation. They are almost similar to you, the way you started off in those years. Let me see if you're a parent. Do you know the password of your child? And if you are a parent who is raising young kids, will you take all their passwords, or you will let them just be private with them? Like Fidelav says, it's easy said than done. But for you, as you have said on and on, you started from the word go. When your daughter was 11, you started from there.
Yeah, but that's the problem. If you don't start earlier, that's the problem. Because now when you want to do it, they will ask you why.
Why now? Yes.
Why now? But since you give this phone to the child, the minute you give the phone, you say, "Mommy, this is your phone." But when you come back from school, it's in my room charging, and I also, can you give me your password? They'll just do it because it's the first thing you're doing. But if you've left it and then 2 years later bring your password, they'll be like, what?
No, I'm not giving you my password. No.
My children, I know my children bank details. They know my bank details. They know my password. They even know my password. So make sure that anything naughty that comes on my phone, I delete it. But my children know my password, and that's why it's easier for them to give me their password because I'm so transparent with them.
If you want those passwords, you have to be transparent to them. You don't hide them. You don't hide stuff from them too.
Exactly.
Wow. Okay. So the passwords there, the phones, people say it's easier said than done. We are coming to the questions. Let's focus on the last part of this talk here, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for all of you tuning here. Today I'm here in the Bold and Raw Talks with Lydia Tet. I hope you're learning something by the end of this talk. Please make sure that you have picked something. And if you're just joining, remember to watch a repeat of the same talk from our YouTube channels. It will be posted on YouTube. Benjamin Junior Bogonko is the YouTube channel name. And you can watch a repeat during your free time or together with your child, or just to keep on to know what you can do to rectify some of the things that are going on in your parenting. And we are focusing on correcting bad behaviors. It's just correcting. Like for me as a teacher, my job was always correcting bad behaviors of a child, because a child is always a child. Children will make mistakes, but we just correct, try to correct. I see, Fidel, your guest needs to consider that some of us are single parents. Of course, maybe she's coming in late. Lydia is a single parent, has 3 children, 3 daughters, 24. How old are your daughters again?
24, 18, and 15.
24, 18, and 15. So a typical description of the normal children that we have these days, and they are girls.
They are girls.
Yes.
And I've been single for 13 years, and there is no co-parenting with mine. I've been single by myself, so I understand where you're coming from. But the thing is, if you ground everything from the foundation from day one. Let me give you an example of my 2 children. My daughter was she was only 6 months, and anytime I washed her, I'll put the thing up, and it has water, and she'll cry. She wants it. When I gave her, she'll start like sucking all the soap and everything. I was like, oh, that's not right. So when I wash her, put it back, she'll cry. I say, my darling, when you finish crying, I'll come back. The bathroom, because I've put her in a something bucket, so she can't follow, she can't come out because it's locked. Now you have to unlock it for her to come out. So she'll cry. She was like, I never gave her. After 4 days, 5 days, she got used to, oh, this mom is so tough. She's not giving me this thing. And she was only 6 months. But some people will say, oh, she's only a child, she's only 6 months, let me give her. That is how you start. But if you leave it and say she's only a child, they are not children. They are very, very smart. My daughter my second born now, who is 18, she used to bite. You know those children who bite? She used to bite you. And I was thinking, if she's old enough, when she goes to the park, nobody will want to play with her. And parents will be looking at me thinking, your child is biting. So what do? She bites me, I bite her back. She bites me, I bite her back. By 4 or 5 bites, she stopped biting. You understand? I know in Kenya they say you wake whatever you're putting. That was what worked for me. So for myself, discipline was from day one. I didn't leave it.
The co-parenting, like Fidel, you said, the co-parenting is another different scenario, because for you took responsibility of raising your children alone without involving the father. Because what she's saying there, the father could be another man from another race, like a white person who is very permissive and allows their child to do whatever they want. And that makes it very complicated, because they are not parenting on the same page or in the same level.
Yes. Yeah, that will make it a little bit difficult. But still, your children need to know that even though the other parent is allowing them to do this, when they come back, you need to discuss with them everything that happened. And then you need to now correct it and say, this is not right, this is not right. You still need to correct it.
You're still the parent, you're still the CEO of your child, no matter what. You're the mother.
Yeah, so you still need to correct it. Whether it's the mother doing that, because you also have some mothers who are just allow their children to do whatever they want, and
they want to make the child happy.
Yes,
you can't make your child happy all the time.
No,
Yes, you put your feelings aside and you're just correcting them, and you have to remind them, I am doing this because I'm correcting what I've seen that is
Yes.
affecting you and your behaviors at school and here at home. That's what I'm correcting. But I'm still your parent at the end of the day.
And let me tell you something, Benjamin. Your children will end up blaming you. Because children they need, it's not a want, it's a need. So it's a necessity. Children need discipline, but they don't want it. They need it, but they don't want it. I'll give you an example of my daughter. When my daughter was only 7 years old, this is my eldest daughter. When I'm going shopping, I used to buy sweets. Sweet was part of the shopping list. At that time, the dad was still with me. The dad always used to tell me, Lydia, unaribu toto, wacha kununuezi masweeti. I'm like, no, she's my only child, because that time she was still my only child. When her teeth got spoiled and I took this girl to the dentist, this girl was only 7. I took her to the dentist, and the dentist said, oh, her teeth, she has a rotten teeth. Do you know what this child said? In front of the dentist and the dad, she looked at me and said, Mommy, it's your fault, because you are the one who buys me sweets. At 7 years old, I could not believe this child told me that. And that's the day I stopped buying sweets. And until today, she has the perfect teeth, because I never bought sweets again. So they'll blame you. If anything goes wrong, that child will turn back and blame you and say, Mommy or Daddy, it's your fault.
It's your fault. It's not my fault. Wow, powerful there example. Let's look at the last segment of this talk here. The listen to understand, listening. Sometimes listen to understand what your child is saying.
Yes.
There are so many people who struggle with listening. I'll give you an example. When I was in college, we had my first year of my undergraduate, we had a simple test. The lecturer came into class and said, I am going to test you guys to test your listening skills. It was 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Just, like it was lunchtime, and when you're in college, you want to go and eat. It's just, you always eat lunch at 1. So we were very hungry and we wanted to go and eat. For me, especially for me, I was very hungry. And then she turned on the radio, put it on a loudspeaker. Most radio stations have their news channels around that time, 1 o'clock or 7 or 9 p.m. So she played we started listening to the news. And then we were just wondering what's going on. After 15 minutes, she told us, now I want you to write down what the presenter was saying in this news.
Yes.
All the things she said in the news, and then I will, of course, it was a test out of 30%. And then she said, I've given you 30 minutes to write what the presenter was saying. I couldn't remember anything at all. So listening is one of the most important skill that any human being can have, especially for a parent, to listen to what your child is saying and what your child is not saying. In your experience, Lydia, raising these 3 daughters, how do you listen to them? And when don't you listen to them?
Okay. The only time I don't listen is when somebody wants to argue. I tell them, you can never argue with mommy. Okay?
Never argue with mommy.
Never argue with mommy. If mommy says something, because what I do, I always have meeting with my children. And that's the other thing that a lot of parents don't do. I have meeting with my children. And when I have meeting, I tell them, this is the only time that you're allowed to criticize mommy, whatever you want, and mommy will not react.
Family meeting. You have family meetings.
Yes. And that's the day I'll be hearing things and I'm like, dang, that was me by my heart, because I don't want to say it loud, because next time they're not going to be free to say what they want to say. So we normally have a meeting, and then I'll start with my firstborn, my second, my third, and then I'll say, what is it through the month? Because we used to do it once a month. So I'm like, within the month, what did mommy do wrong? What should mommy do better? And sometimes they'll be saying things in my heart. I'm like, oh, please just get lost. In my heart, I'm thinking, I don't tell them. But when I come home, every day when I come home, I start with my firstborn. I always go and say, Mommy, how was your day today? And then we talk about her day, and then I tell her, what do you think? If she tells me, Mommy, I was so angry today, I tell her, what do you think you can do better? How can you turn that situation to a positivity? When I finish with that, I go to my secondborn. Everybody have their time. When I finish with that, I go to my secondborn. When I finish, I go to my thirdborn, and I listen to them, and I don't judge. Now, listening to understand. Some parents, when the child is listening, that's when they'll get a topic to now talk about that topic until forever. And your child is that, mommy, I was just telling you this, or daddy, but now they use that against the child. The child will never talk to you again. Because now you've gotten a topic from their own, from something that hurts them. Okay. So what I do is I always listen to what they're saying, and then I'll ask them, so what do you think you can do better? And it's coming from them, not me. And also we listen, and then we start making assumptions. We start just making assumptions. Or maybe a parent comes in and, what's wrong with you? You've assumed already that there's something wrong with this child. And that is something that children they don't like it at all. That you say, what's wrong with you? Oh, but it's better for you to ask, are you okay? Are you okay, hon? So
if you ask, are you okay, and then they keep quiet?
No, you just ask, are you okay?
Yes.
Look like something is not okay. But are you okay should be the first question. Not like, what's wrong with you?
What's wrong with you? Yeah, why are you quiet? Why are you not eating?
Yes, you've assumed already something is wrong with me. But it's the questions. We need to ask questions, and we need to listen to them. So you don't listen to respond. You listen to understand. And sometimes some things your children can tell you, they're just too much. You just have to take time first and think about it.
Wow. Listen to understand. Listen to understand. Listen. How about a situation? Let me give you a scenario of. You have said you have meetings. Are you still going on with the family meetings with your 3 daughters?
Yes, but now we do it after every 2 months. Before,
after every 2 months.
Younger, it was once a month. But now because they're older, it's after every 2 months. But the stories they tell me, whoo, the accusations I get.
What I'm learning here is a parent is a CEO. Let me encourage all the viewers who are watching. You are a CEO, and CEOs, very successful CEOs, they have boardroom meetings, time to time. We have a meeting. In this meeting, and it's an open forum. Say whatever you want to say. Like you said, when you have this meeting with them, you allow them to say whatever they want to say, to criticize you the way they want to criticize. And you're not going to judge them. You're not going to feel offended, because I know some parents are going to say, okay, wow, let me try a meeting with my daughter or my son. And then in that meeting, the son will now open up and say, hey, I don't like you. I hate you. What happens when a child tells you, I hate you? You know?
If a child tells you that, you need to find out why. Because if a child says, oh, mommy, I hate you, they won't just hate you from nowhere. You have to find out, oh, why do you feel like that, sweetie? Why do you feel like you hate mommy? What did mommy do? And then now they will tell you what you did that makes them hate you. They don't really hate you. They only hate you because of probably you took their phone away, or you told them you cannot go out. Benjamin, I'm telling you, there are times, all my children, the punishment I gave them, they did not even celebrate their birthday. And my children don't like ugali. So that's the day I'll cook ugali and spinach. We will eat even without meat on someone's birthday, and everybody's getting punishment. So these 2 other ones will be like, look at what you've done to us. They're cooking ugali and spinach. They don't really like that. And that is because, and then now at that scenario, a child can think, oh my God, I hate my mom so much. So if they tell you I hate you, you need to find out why.
Find out why.
Yeah.
Always try to find out why. Why is he or she saying this?
Exactly.
All right. Let's go down to the questions quickly, Lydia, as you take a break and you breathe in and out. But I know you can talk and talk. Ladies and gentlemen who are tuning in here, thank you so much for listening to us up to now, especially those who are here from the beginning. We were talking about parenting, who is responsible for your child or your children. Let me go quickly on the comment section and pick up some of the questions. And Lydia, you can try to respond really quick.
Okay, that's fine.
Yes. We have the first question here by Chika. What is the best thing parent can give to kids to make sure they are good kids?
Discipline.
Discipline them.
Discipline and listening here. Just those two.
Those
Discipline and listening.
This is the best thing you can give them. Not money, not gifts, not vacation. Yes. Discipline and listen to them.
Discipline and listening. Because by listening, a child feels appreciated, acknowledged. That's the 2 things. The children need to feel appreciated, acknowledged, and loved. The only way they can get these 3 is by listening to them. Because you listen and then you talk to them. You don't listen to respond, you listen to understand. Those things will make a child feel loved. And then discipline, you must discipline a child. You cannot allow.
When you're disciplining, in fact, when you're as a teacher, when you're disciplining, you're correcting a bad behavior.
Exactly.
So that the love and the respect that you want them to get from you, it will become easier.
Yes.
Exactly. You know, if they are misbehaving, then they will not love you.
Exactly.
They are going this way and you're going this way.
And they'll blame you, Benjamin, they'll blame you for their own bad behavior.
Yes, they don't finish their homework and then they blame it's because of you. That's why I didn't finish my homework on time. But it's their responsibility to finish their homework, you know? Yes. Yes, okay. Discipline and, of course, guiding them and listening to them. Another question here by Chika again. What can you say about a man who gave birth to children but never support those children by caring, school fees, clothing, etc.? But when the children grow up, their father want to come back to take those children. Is such a man a parent or a sperm donor? You have an ex. What would you say for such a man coming back after seeing the children are successful?
Well, let me tell you something. It is not your place to judge. A parent will always be a parent. That man will always be those children's father. My ex never helped me. A lot of people say, oh, go and report him. I never reported him because you know what I said? I said, God has given me the strength, the ability, and the wisdom. I will work for my children until those children can see how you're struggling and what you're going through. One thing, don't ever say anything negative about their dad. Never in front of them. Don't ever allow them to say anything negative about their dad. It's their dad. It's not a sperm donor. It's their dad. He wants to come back. Let him come back. It's still their dad, and that will never change. And
it's not a sperm donor.
It's not. And that's why I started by saying it's your responsibility to look after those children. So if you look after those children and then the dad wants to come back, not come back to you, but come back to the children, you will not feel hurt. Because from the beginning, you know already it's your responsibility. But this is their dad. My ex treated me so bad. I don't even know. That's a story for another day. But I never denied him his children. If you want to see your children, they're your children. But I will look after them the best way I can.
Are they communicating with your daughters? Is he communicating with them?
Yes, he does.
Okay,
yes,
all right.
He does. But they know. They still know because they have eyes. They can see. You don't need to tell them. You don't need to say your dad is this, your dad is this. They can see.
They can see he's a bad guy, he's a bad man, he's a bad father. They can see it.
They can see. They can see he only wants to come back when I have this, and then he disappears. My ex can disappear for I don't know how long. When he comes back, he still comes back, but not in my house. So there have to be boundaries. So the children have to know if you want to meet your dad, you meet him outside. He comes and pick you guys and take you wherever he's taking you and brings you back home. That's it.
Yes. Thank you for responding to that. We have another question by Mpenda Mani. How can you advise someone who is misleading your son or daughter, whom you have seen has a future, and the child ignore the parent, bearing in mind that the parent is a single parent? People who are misleading your son or your daughter, how can you deal with such a person?
That is why I don't think anybody can mislead your child, because your child have the brains of their own. I don't believe when people say it's your bad friends. That is why from the beginning, I always tell my children, stand out. So it's the way you brought your children from beginning. What I've always told my children when they were young, Benjamin, before my children leave the house, and this is from when they were young, I'll ask them, who are you? They will say, I'm a beautiful Black African princess. I'm a leader of men and follower of Christ. I stand out, and I don't follow. I don't fit in. I stand out. So if you've taught your children from beginning they should stand out. Even if my firstborn, who is 25, people call her grandma because she's always the one telling people, don't do this, don't do that. So they say, oh, this grandma is here again. Because I've taught her to stand out. Don't fit in and follow what people are doing. You have to stand out from your friends. I've never chosen my friends, friends for my children. When my daughter was 13 years old, she came to me and said, a 13-year-old friend had sex. And she came and said, oh, ma'am, because the diaspora children just talk about things like it's the way
anything, they don't care, yeah.
Yeah, ma'am, can you imagine so and so had sex? And she came to school and told us that it was good. And I was like, okay, God, give me wisdom. Give me wisdom. What am I going to say?
Yes.
So I told her, remember what I've told you, sweetie. Stand out and don't fit in. So what are you going to do to stand out in this situation? So she explained to me, I'm not going to do what she did because I'm going to stand out and show her that what she did is wrong. And don't judge her either. And I've taught my children, do not judge anybody. So I say, don't judge your friend, but you need to stand out. So she still remained her friend that she was standing out. So there's no way her friend will now come and start lying to her and misleading her. So I don't believe in that.
No misleading. But at the end of the day, the responsibility is for the parent to lead the child towards the right direction.
Exactly.
Okay.
And children as well, you have your own brain, you have your own mind.
Yes.
So if somebody can easily drive you from being good to bad, that means that you don't have the confidence in yourself to stand out and say, I'm not doing this.
Okay. All right. Thank you for that response. We have another question by Bella Bobley. How will you respond to children who they keep on asking, where is our dad? Daddy alikufa, aligongwa na gari. Where is our dad? The parents who are watching here and they are asked this question. Yes. You are a single parent, and of course your ex left after 10 years being together with him. Maybe the younger one might ask, or maybe, I don't know your experience. Did the younger one ask you, or do they ask you sometimes, where is our dad? How will you deal with that?
In fact, it was so bad that my third born, any man that came to the house, whether it's a plumber, she used to call them dad because she was like, any man she saw was
any man is a dad.
Any man is a dad. Because the dad left when she was really young. But if your children are asking where's your dad, tell them the truth. Where's the dad? Is he living with another woman? Is he dead? Is he whatever?
Is he in jail? Yeah.
Is he in jail? Tell your children the truth, because what happens is, when those children grow up, they'll really resent you. They'll resent you for lying to them. So tell them the truth, and whatever they do with that truth is up to them. You have to tell them the truth, and that's why I always tell parents: tell the children the truth, because they'll respect you for that. When they're older, one day say, "Wow, so it's true. Mommy told us that this is what happened to dad, or dad told us this is what happened to mom," and it's the truth. Then they'll respect you. But imagine you lying to your children, your dad died. Like some people say, your mom was hit by a bus. And then they grow up and they find out that their mom actually was their next neighbor. She was just there, but because you denied her rights to see them, you had to lie. Tell the children the truth, where their dad is or where their mom is. Don't lie to them.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Okay. Tell the truth. Tell the truth. Let me see another question here. We're winding up here, ladies. Okay. Grace Kamwenya. What about the parents leave kids in Kenya and come to find green pastures? There are so many people follow my page who are actually single parents. They have left their kids home. It's another story altogether. You can imagine you moving to another country and leaving your children. You can just give your general opinion. What can they do with their parenting when their children are away?
Yeah, I think with that as well, you need to, because like right now we have phones, just talk to your children and explain to them. And every time, make sure you phone your children. FaceTime, now there's FaceTime, but tell your children the truth. Let's say, oh, mommy was there, but mommy couldn't find a job, or it was really hard for mommy. So mommy's right in Dubai, and that's why mommy's sending you money to buy shoes and buy clothes. And make sure you talk to those children. And because you're abroad, probably you're making a few pounds than if you're in Kenya. Make sure you take them to the best school. Make sure you get them a mentor. Make sure you get them to all these courses. And
don't send money to these boyfriends. Like I will start shows about, we have these young ladies who are sending money to other men, thinking that, oh, my ex left me with a child. I left my child back home. Now I have found love. Nimepata mtu mwenye ananipenda saizi online. And then they lie to you and you send all the money and your child is still going to very bad schools, you know?
Look after your child. Your child is your treasure. Your child is your gem. Your child is the success that you leave behind is say you left a legacy. Forget boyfriend and girlfriend. You're sending money. When you're sending money to a boy, she's busy with another girl. Or you're sending money to a girl, she's busy with another man. So your children come first. Make sure that you give them the best when you're not with them.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for that. Jacqueline Kadambi is really thanking you. This is what I really wanted to know. Thank you, Lydia. Saying thank you, Jacqueline.
Thank
you. Thank you so much, Jacqueline. Let me see one more question here. We have a question by Angelita Angel Mark. Thanks for this talk. I am learning a lot. My question is, With the way you have brought up your daughters, are they so open to share their personal issues and secrets?
Yeah. In fact, my firstborn, all her friends always say, "Oh, don't tell her. She's going to tell her mom. She's going to tell her mom." They tell me everything.
Everything.
Almost everything. Probably not everything, Benjamin, because I don't tell.
How about virginity? I asked you about virginity. Do you know that she is still a virgin?
Yes, my daughter actually, you know, when I met their dad, I was actually
Yes.
20 years old when I met their dad, and I was a virgin.
Mm-hmm.
And their dad was my first boyfriend, or the first man I was with. And I've told that to my children. They know that already. My daughter even came the other day and said, "Oh, mommy, I beat you already." I said, "Beat me on what? On virginity. I'm still a virgin, and you broke your virginity at 20. I was like, "That's good, honey. Keep it." And then I said, "Look, now you're older. There's no point of breaking your virginity now at this age. Just wait for your husband when you're married, because you could have done it when you're 16, 18, 19. You didn't. So now just keep it until for your husband." But and somebody probably asked me, "Oh, how sure are you?" I'm sure, because I know my children. But again, like I said, they will not tell me everything.
Not everything, not 100%, of course.
Not
They have their
100%.
own secrets, but
Yes.
for the most part, they try to be open and tell you what they are facing and what they are going through.
Yes, they tell me about boys. They'll tell me if the boy did something, like they had friendship and this boy left them. They'll tell me if they like a boy. And one day they made my daughter cry so much because I told her, "No, you're not going out with that boy." She said, "Oh, mommy, why? I really like him." I said, "Nah, not him." So she would cry. She cried for almost a week. She got over it. And she then came and told me one day, "Mommy, thank you for not allowing me to go out with that boy." I said, "Why?" He said, "Yeah, because this is what he did to the girlfriend that he now had. He cheated on her." I said, "You see, mommy knows a lot." So they just believe that mommy knows a lot.
Yep.
But if I say no, it's no. But they do talk to me a lot.
They
Of
tell
course,
you a lot, yes.
Yeah.
Very important, very important.
Yeah.
We have another observation here by Annie Francia. I have been away from my children for 4 years, and now they are 9 and 6. How can I make up for the lost time? I was away working. It really scares me because I know they have been through so much. 4 years away from the children. Wow. How does she make up for the time lost?
Well, with children, there's no time lost. You can start everything from
You can
now.
start from somewhere.
You can start from somewhere. Just explain to them why you were away for those 4 years. And then now give them everything. And when I say
The best.
everything, your
The
time.
best.
Some people always think that if I buy them the best mobile phone, forget. Those children don't care about the best mobile phone. They don't even care about the car. We have children who their parents are celebrities. That means that they've given them everything, but they've still gone wild and they're doing some crazy stuff. When I say give them your all, give them the best, is your time. Your time is the best for the children.
Yes.
Make sure even if people call you, make sure they even see when your best friend is calling you and you're like, "No, I'm not talking to them now." They'll feel, "Wow, so mommy, we are better than mommy." That mommy's best friend. You know, Benjamin, let me tell you something, yeah? Just quick. My children one day went to America, right? To see my mom. She's there, and my sister. And I didn't go with them, just the three of them. When I woke up one day when they were supposed to come back, I saw, you know, the time difference between America and UK. There was so many missed calls. And I was thinking, "Oh my God, what happened to my children? What's going on?" So I called and I was like, "Guys, what's happening?" When they go to the airport, they were told that they can take a flight, an evening flight, and they'll be paid $3,000 because they can take this flight, but this flight is full. But they were offering them to. Do you know what my children said? My children said, "My mom will not care about the money. She will care that we've landed in the UK, so we are going." So my sister was calling me, saying, "Lydia, they're going to offer us $3,000. When I woke up and I called them and they were like, "Mommy, this is what's happening." So I said, "What's happening now?" They said, "We are coming home because we know you do not care about the 3,000. You care us coming back to the UK." That is what your children should know about you. Because you've placed everything under. You don't care about anything, but your children come first. Even though in my heart I was like, "Dang, that 3,000 could have done something."
Good money. That's good money, yeah. So they were like, "Mommy will not do this." Until that stage where they say, "If it is mom will not do this."
mommy will not do this.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
But if it's a parent that they don't care, the children straight away they will have said, yeah, let's stay, because mommy will take the 3,000 and let us even stay in America for another 2 days.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's a really bad feeling. When my children did that, I felt so good, Benjamin. I felt so good that this is how these children see me for them.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah. Though 3,000 ilikuwa mingi. Anyway, we have to finish this talk here. Thank you so much, Lydia. We have one more here. This is Elisambethi Faul Ayombi. I've been separated for 2 years. He doesn't keep a relationship with them kids. Recently, last year, his parents called because they feel it's time to circumcise my son. It broke my heart that they have no interest in their life, well-being, but selfish traditions. This rite of passage, I don't feel like I should allow them to do it. I feel still confused. So this is a parent who has been left and still struggling to be responsible. And you see, the other people want to still be responsible even though they are away from their child. What would you advise her?
No. If she's the one that has those children, it's her responsibility
To do whatever she wants to do.
It's her responsibility to decide what happens to those children. It's her responsibility. She should not give in. She should never give in.
She should be the CEO and say, no, I will not give in. These are my kids.
She shouldn't be the CEO. She is the CEO.
She is the CEO.
Exactly. So she shouldn't allow anybody to dictate what's happening to a company that she gave birth to, she founded. So she should not allow anybody to dictate what is happening in her house with her children.
Okay. Thank you. I hope she will pick some pieces of advice there. Daniel Mukundane says, thank you, Lydia. Thank you, Lydia, for the good practical talk. Keep it up. Thank you so much, Daniel. We appreciate your comment. Aguti also says, thank you to you, Lydia. Thank you so much, Aguti Deborah. Grace Kamwea also says, thanks to you too. She has 3 daughters, 18, 15, and 10. This is exactly as you.
Yes.
She needs a lot of encouragement and advice before these daughters turn to be monsters instead of being angels. You know, there are men, there are so many men who are just waiting to pounce on them all the time, whether they are relatives or not family members. Any man is just after looking at them, and anything can happen to those 3 daughters. But we wish her well.
Let me just say something so quick, Benjamin. Sorry.
Yes.
Especially if you have daughters, especially, but all children, even boys, you have to reaffirm. You have to reaffirm every single child. Reaffirm your children how much you love them, how beautiful they are. Because if you keep that in your children and it sinks into their subconscious, no man can come and tell your daughter you look beautiful and she will go. Because most girls, because they don't hear that from their parents, when a man comes and say, oh baby, you are beautiful, they'll just fall on the hands of the person saying you're beautiful,
complimenting them. Yes.
The girl can say, right now if you tell my children you're beautiful, they say, I know. And somebody
I know,
says,
I know that, yes.
They say, I know. My mom has told me forever since I was born. I know I'm beautiful. So you need to reaffirm your children every blessed, not every other day, every blessed.
Every time, yes. We have Annie Ferienzi. Okay, thank you so much for the... I'm not ready to give up my well-paying job just for children. They are priceless. Stay blessed. This one, maybe she's away from the children and she's not willing to give up the job.
That's fine.
That's fine, but the money she's making has to take the kids to a has a very good life. Yes. If you're not giving up your job, then make sure that whatever you're making is reflecting on how those children are enjoying and getting the best of the best from their mom.
That's right.
Brendan Yatichi Moti says, very insightful learnings. Thanks for sharing, Lydia. Thumbs up, Benjamin. Thank you so much, Brenda. Thank you. Thank you. Frank Moturi, thank you so much. Thank you. And all of you have just been here. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. We have to come to an end to this discussion here. Time to time on Monday. Are you free again next Monday?
Yeah, that's fine.
That's fine. We will have another 4 topics and talk about the parenting again over. So Monday will be about parenting. So if you're watching here for the first time, please like and follow the page. Of course, Lydia, you also do live videos. I'm giving you an opportunity to say about what you normally do, because this is not your first live video. Please talk to the viewers and tell them how they can get you.
Oh yeah, I'm also my name is Lydia Tetolet, just like Benjamin wrote it down there. And I also do shows, talk shows about humanity, about just about humanity. And when I say humanity, is about we talk about domestic violence because right now we know how domestic violence have hit the roof. So I campaign against domestic violence. We talk about rape. We talk about sanitary towers. We talk about boy child. We talk about girl child. We don't leave boy child behind because I believe boy child also need to be empowered. So we talk about all stuff that happens in humanity. And my talk show is called Stand Out, Speak Up. Because I always teach, I don't believe in fitting in. So stand out and speak up. So if you want to reach me, just my name is Lydia Tetolet on Facebook. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. We have one more question here. One more question by Ursula. What happened when the kids blame you for not giving your best? Blaming. We talked about the blaming. Because kids will wake up and blame you. They will blame you for they are not performing very well at school. What will happen? What happens in such a situation?
Well, you just need to talk to them because this is something that now has happened. Okay, so you need to sit down with the children and talk to them and listen. Don't defend yourself because a child can say, yeah, mommy, the other day you did this, and then you want to justify the situation. Don't justify anything. Be very, very vulnerable when your children are talking to you. Let them see that, oh my God, so mommy, submit and be vulnerable and listen to them. So don't listen to respond, listen to understand and discuss. That can change a lot of things because the children need to see that you're actually not defending yourself, trying to justify why I was away, why I didn't do this. No. Accept your mistake and apologize. Say, I am sorry, guys, I let you down. But mommy now wants to change. I want to do it better. So what do you think? How do you think we can work together and make it better?
Involve them in this blame because, as you said, kids are very smart. I will give a very simple example. A child refuses to do his or her homework and fails exams and then blames the mother. You see? But at the end of the day, it's the child's responsibility to do the homework.
Yes.
And the parent has to tell the child, if you don't do your homework, then you will fail. But if you do your homework, you will pass. It's as simple as that. It's not my mistake. I did my homework when I was young as you, but now you have the time, you have a room, you have a desk, you have all the materials to do whatever you're supposed to do by the teachers. If you don't do it, then you will fail. You will have to repeat and repeat the same grade. So I believe as a teacher, sometimes taking a blame, you should take a blame that is really you who created it. Yes. Never accept to take this blame, or it's like saying, I would say it's you pick your lane. You pick your lane and you know that this kid is just blaming me, making me to feel guilty. But at the end of the day, it is his mistake. And if I accept it, then I am not correcting this child.
Yes.
And don't take all the blame, then begin talking. And from there, you will try to correct the situation. And parents should involve teachers. Teachers have been left out there. As I said, I resigned being a teacher. The teachers have no powers these days. Any parent will come to school. I met a parent who came to class and told me, Benjamin, you are a bad teacher. My son is a good boy. And I know that the boy is a very stubborn boy. All parents believe that their children are the best. But I spent 5 days a week with your child. That's a very long time, and you are together with your child maybe a few hours, but I'm with him. I see what he's doing. I see how he treats others in class and his homework and his attitude. So even teachers, really I want to encourage the parents, be close to your teachers because they spend more time with your child. Appreciate their job, be kind with your words, and accept, as the way Lydia have said, accept you have made a mistake as a parent, instead of blaming. If your child blames you as a parent and then you blame the teacher, no. Appreciate the teacher. Of course, there are bad teachers out there. Some of them are not experienced. We understand that no one is perfect in this world. Some teachers will make mistakes. It's your responsibility as a parent to understand that my son and me as a parent, we have to do something to make our lives better and for the people around our children.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. I think we have finished everything. So So thank you, Lydia. I hope to see you again next Monday. Hopefully,
Yeah.
we will discuss about it and then prepare for another topic. And for all the viewers who have been here, we want to sincerely say thank you so much for your time. Thank you, thank you. Lydia, please say thank you and goodbye to the viewers.
Thank you very much, everybody, for tuning in. Thank you for all those who are interacting with us and all the questions as well. And I hope that the people that we answered their questions, you've got something from it. So thank you very much and God bless you. It can only be God, and we'll see you again next week on Monday by His grace.
Thank you, Lydia. See you.
Bye.
Okay, good night. Bye-bye. Goodbye, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for tuning in. Remember to like and follow the page. And don't forget to follow Lydia Tet on her Facebook account. Goodbye. Enjoy the rest of your day or your night. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Bye-bye. See you next time in another Bold and Raw Talks. And don't forget to follow if you are watching for the first time. Thank you.